Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Sportscaster and her son, where sports bridges the gap between the generations. I'm your co-host, Peggy Kaczynski, a 12-time Emmy Award-winning sportscaster in Chicago. My son, Jason, is my co-host, now a working sportscaster as well. Hi, Jason.
Hey, Mom, how's it going? Happy holidays. Going to be home in about a week. But before then, we'll talk about the Chicago Bears. Things aren't going so well with the Monsters of the Midway.
No, a 7-game losing streak. They have their second go-around now in the division, coming up with a Monday night football game against the Vikings. They're 0-3 in the NFC North. They had coaching fire for the first time ever in the history of the franchise during the season. They have an interim head coach right now with Thomas Brown. It's just a mess. Jason, from all the hopes that were so high earlier in the season, this is tough to swallow.
Very tough to swallow. And even though there's been good development from some of the young players, I mean, Caleb Williams has done just about all that he can, given the situation that the Bears are in, especially the offense. Some of the other young players, Darnell Wright has been fantastic since coming back from injury. Gervon Dexter has been good this year. Rome Odunze has really picked it up as of late. But none of it really matters when you've lost 7 games in a row and your season's over before Christmas. So frustrating times in Chicago. We know that there's going to be a new head coach after the first of the year. Who will it be? We'll talk about that later on. But for now, the Bears just need to see some continued good development out of these young guys, especially in these divisional games against playoff teams down the stretch.
I can tell you who the head coach won't be. It won't be Bill Belichick. I had reported throughout the week that those talks were very serious, and it happened. He accepted the job, and then great reporting by Seth Wickersham saying that as Belichick's team looked into the opportunities this year, they figured the Bears were the best opportunity and that the Bears were not going to give him the chance to interview. So that is why he went to the college ranks. So great reporting by Seth Wickersham. But yeah, this is, Jason, I don't even know what to expect. Like, on the one hand, you look and you say, here they have a franchise quarterback. They have, good talent in place, but they're such a mess. Now you start to worry about teams looking at them and wondering if that's a job they want.
Yeah, not only just teams, but also players. I mean, this needs to be an appealing free agent destination in order to bring in the offensive talent, the offensive line talent to surround Caleb Williams with successful pieces. And the Bears need to become that franchise again, which they haven't been in so long, which is a desirable free agent destination, a place where coaches want to coach, where players want to play, where defensive players pray that they get drafted. And the Bears aren't there yet. They'll have an opportunity to claw back to that standing with whoever they hire as head coach after the first of the year. But yeah, Mom, I'm kind of with you in that grouping of, I don't really know what to expect the rest of the season. They came so close to beating Green Bay. They came so close to beating Minnesota. They came so close to beating Detroit, and they couldn't pull out any of those wins. And so now they'll get their second crack at each of those opponents. And yeah, you'd hope that the young guys and the veteran players even will be out for vengeance, but just got to hope for good development, no serious injuries, and that everyone's happy at the end of the season.
Yeah, the second go around should be interesting because Caleb Williams had a really good game against the Vikings last time around. He had a really nice game, and it was interesting because Brian Flores kind of took his foot off the gas in the second half and really gave the Bears an opportunity to get back in the game. So whether or not they do that on Monday night against the Bears, we'll see. But it's also will be interesting to see what Caleb has learned as well.
Absolutely.
Jason, one of those young pieces that we were talking about that the next head coach of the Chicago Bears is going to be very excited about is rookie wide receiver Rome Odunze, number 15. The other first-round draft pick is joining us here on the podcast. Rome, how are you? This has been a crazy busy week for you.
Yeah, no, it's been a busy week, but I'm doing well. Thank you guys for having me on.
Okay, 13 NFL games into your rookie career. It's a long season. Coming off of last year, does it feel like it's super long to you at this point?
I don't know. I mean, I think, the season hasn't necessarily felt like super long. I think this year in general, though, has felt, like one of the longest years just because of all the different, transitions I went through from, I was just playing I was playing a national championship game this year, still playing with, at college. So in that exact same year, I've, played 13 NFL games and, still have some to go, went through a whole process, draft and all that, and still got, more things to get done. So, it's been a long year, but super grateful for it all.
Go ahead, Jace. Oh boy, everybody is freezing up here.
No, I'm all good. I'm good. So, like my mom just said, you're 13 some games into your rookie year. You're starting to build really good rapport with Caleb Williams. Do you feel like that's something that, as you get more games under your belt, that's something that's showing more in the games, or is it just a matter of those plays that you've been practicing, the chemistry that you've kind of already have, is now just showing up in games?
I think the game reps and the game, execution definitely translate to, a growing relationship on the field for sure. I think practice reps, are great and they work wonders for sure. But, it only does so much in respects to, actual game reps and being able to, see how one another plays in an actual, competitive setting like that. There's nothing like game day. So, practice and, doing those things in the game has both, helped create our chemistry.
And with Caleb, that's a guy who you played against in college in the now gone Pac-12, unfortunately. But when did that process start with getting to know each other, getting that chemistry? You guys were both top 10 picks. Just tell us a little bit about how that started.
I think, it generally started when we both got drafted. We had, I had chopped it up with him a little bit before and had worked out with him before, that process had finalized. But, it's not like I really, knew him too well or, knew his game too well, never been really played with him, in a practice setting or a game setting. So I got to watch him from across the field, and I knew he was something special. So from that day we got drafted, we kind of started working together and trying to get right to be something special.
How have you adjusted to his freelancing? Because it's not always easy trying to figure out. I know that people practice it. And last year with Justin Fields, we talked about that a lot with the Bears, that they would actually practice when he was going to go off script. How have you adjusted to when Caleb does go off script?
I think it's just, maintaining the focus throughout the entire play till the whistle's blowing. You know what I mean? He has the ability to make, something out of nothing in the scramble game with his legs and all those different things. So you kind of have to stay ready, until the whistle is blowing. You just stay ready the entire play. And that, makes yourself available, for any option that, he decides to do that's going to be off script.
Okay, one of the things that I think is most interesting about Caleb's game, and there's been a couple touchdowns to you this year, is when he changes the speed of the ball. That blows my mind how he is able to do that. And a couple of times it goes up and I'm thinking, oh man, that's like a wounded duck that he just put up there. But he's purposely changing the speed of the ball for you to adjust your route as well. It's amazing what he's been able to do between arm angles and speed of ball with his passes.
Yeah, no, it's super impressive. And, he has the ability to, kind of make any throw on the field, which is a huge asset to this offense, and the velocity of it and, the lift he puts underneath it as well is all factors in us, being able to catch it and make plays. So, he allows to make the perfect pass for the scenario.
You're playing behind two really savvy vets in Keenan Allen and DJ Moore. What have you learned from those two this year?
Oh man, I mean, I can't even put it in words, honestly. Yeah, I mean, it's been learning every single day. Every single day I feel like I'm in the classroom just kind of studying them, whether it's asking them questions or just, putting on the film. You can learn so much from them. So, I continue to do so, and something I'm super grateful for, to be in that situation, to be able to learn from, two great players and two, great men.
What would you say, like you told us, you were playing in a national championship this exact year. A year ago today, you were preparing for the Sugar Bowl. What is that adjustment game week in the NFL? What is the biggest difference in your preparation now from last year to this year, now that you're a professional?
I think it's just a little bit more dialed, a little bit more detailed, a little bit more honed in. I have more time without, having to do school. So, allows for, a different time to be able to, take extra consideration for the scheme and the playbook that specific week, as well as take care of my body, get into the training room and do all the things necessary to make sure my body's performing at 100%. So doing all those things, I feel like you just have extra time to do the things, football orientated rather than going to class.
Okay, I'm taking you to class right now, and I'm going to ask you, do you know who Willie Gault or David Terrell are?
Willie Gault, David Terrell. Oh, it's not jogging my memory.
Well, I know you were asked a lot after you were drafted about breaking the Bears receiving records. And when you heard how low those numbers were, you were like, yeah, we're going to get that done. Well, Willie Gault was a member of the 85 Bears. He was the last rookie to have 2 100-yard receiving games as a rookie. Willie Gault. Guy from California. Listen, I'm a little older. He was a good-looking young man. And then David Terrell played at Michigan. And David Terrell, he's the first Bears. He was the last Bears rookie to have 2 receiving touchdowns in a game. So you have broken both of their records. So you will be in the same conversation now with Willie Gault and David Terrell. So I just wanted to kind of bring you up to school on that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I think I heard that, when I had scored the touchdowns, and something else with like the 100-yard games as well. So I appreciate you schooling me on that for sure. Shout out to both those guys. Sure they was doing amazing things. Hopefully continue to break more records.
Do you and Caleb ever talk about that the opportunity that is in front of you? Because Caleb's already breaking rookie records for Bears quarterbacks, and you're on your way to breaking rookie records for a Bears wide receiver. So do you ever talk about what the possibilities are for you guys as Chicago Bears?
Yeah, definitely. We talk about those things, here and there, just talk about the big goals. Of course, we have aspirations of, playing here a long time and having great careers. So with that, comes the different accolades and, huge goals and dreams that we have to, break records and, set our names in stone, and especially at such a historic organization. So, yeah, those are definitely things we talk about and share here and there. But, you can only do that by, focusing on today and doing it one play at a time. So, yeah.
Well, I know you were a history major, and I know that your dad loved the Roman Empire. So how does your family like coming to Chicago for your games?
Oh, I mean, my mom comes to every game, so it's, she's traveling regardless of where we're going. So, but everybody that comes through, I've had so many different family members, come through. Honestly, every single weekend, it's like I'm like, Mom, who's coming to the game? Like, who we got to figure out tickets for. So it's kind of been a hectic year in that sense. But I got so much support from that end. And all those people. So, thanks to them, and, is the reason I'm here. So they like it though. This cold that we're experiencing right now, I don't know. I don't know if it's cold like this anywhere my relatives live. So it's a little bit different, but they always, enjoy coming watching me play.
Amazing.
I love it. So I have a question for you. Earlier in the season, I got to ask you some football now about the Bears. The first halves have been tough, especially the last couple of games. And I know that Mercedes Lewis talked about this around the London game, about the lack of the first 15, that you guys didn't have the set first 15 under your former offensive coordinator. Have you guys adjusted that at all? Do you have a first 15 now plays that you just go out and run? Or are you still just kind of keeping it general to how you did it before under Shane Waldron?
Yeah, we definitely have our starter plays, and we have made our adjustments in that realm of our offense. And, I think a big thing, about it comes down to execution and doing the right things within those plays. And, it's hard to, script everything exactly how it's going to turn out in the game. Those things kind of are rare to turn out exactly how you would think they would. So, we run the plays, and we just got to execute better to be able to move the ball down the field so we can start fast and put ourselves in a position to win the football game.
I know as a rookie, there's no way you're going to say to DJ Moore, listen, have you seen my rushing numbers from college? But you should be getting the ball more out of the backfield. I know they're giving it to DJ now, a little bit more out of the backfield, but we got to see a little bit more of you out of the backfield.
maybe here and there, anything I can do to, get the offense going and create, some explosive plays. But I don't know. DJ's pretty special when he gets the ball in his hands. So that's hard to compete with. But yeah.
You've had ups and downs this rookie year as a team, as a player. What would you say is your biggest goal these last couple games of the season to finish off the year on a high note?
Shoot, I just want to win. Honestly, that's my biggest thing. I just want to win football games. Disrupt this division, a little bit, and go out with some W's. So that's really the biggest thing for me.
All right, you got the Monday Night Lights coming up. They're going to be shining bright. The whole nation's going to be watching. Good luck to you, Rome. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you, Peggy, Jason. Nice to meet y'all.
Well, it's quickly becoming a nice tandem of Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze. I mean, he's had 2 multi-reception games, or touchdown games, I should say, already as a rookie. He's had 2 100-yard receiving games as a rookie. And once I think they both get more comfortable, it's a lot to play that much your first year in the NFL. Yeah. So I think that they're off to a pretty good start, and I think that the future is only going to be bright for both of them, Jason.
I mean, this wasn't going to be a situation with Rome where he was going to be a Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson type of rookie year, like where he's setting the world on fire. I mean, he was always going to be the 3rd wide receiver this year. And I think that everybody who's watched the Bears should be happy with his production and the rapport that he started to build with Caleb Williams. I mean, we saw last weekend they play San Francisco. Absolutely nothing's going right on the offensive end. And then Caleb and Rome get it going. And there he has the first 2 touchdown game for a Bears rookie receiver in 40 years. So, yeah, I mean, kind of what we said before the interview, you hope that these next couple of games can be used for development. Like Rome said, they want to shake some things up in the division. I mean, if they can pull off a rivalry win to shake up the playoff picture, with Minnesota either on Monday or Green Bay towards the end of the season, then that can really build some serious momentum into the offseason. And that's something that they need after losing 8 games in a row.
Yeah, this has been rough. So it's not anything that, and let's not give them an 8-game losing streak just yet. It's 7 right now. So if they lose Monday night, then it will be 8. But Jason, listen, a lot of people are worried that they may not win another game this season. So it's not that far away. All right, how about some predictions from you?
How about some predictions from me? I can't believe I'm saying this on our show. We've had this show for almost 6 years. And for the first time, I'm going to predict that DePaul makes the NCAA tournament for men's basketball. They have looked fantastic this year. They are 7-2. They lost their Big East opener in overtime to Providence, a team that had just bullied them, like the entire Big East, for the last 5 years. I'm a huge fan of this DePaul team. Chris Holtman has done a great job with the staff. Brian Mullins has brought in some Chicago guys that are really playing hard. Connor Enright, and NJ Benson. David Skogman has arguably been their best player. Isaiah Rivera, another local kid. So I am a huge fan of what DePaul is doing. I don't think the Big East is great this year. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think that there's a world where if they start off good enough, they could creep into that top half of the Big East picture, which makes the tournament. I only think 5 teams in the Big East make the tournament this year. So crazy.
Wow, nice. That's a good one. All right, what's your second one?
Oh, man, my second one. So we talked Bill Belichick as like the notifications are literally going off on my phone, my iPad, everything right now. My prediction is that this is going to be fun for a year and then it's going to be a disaster. Because right now, I have not seen a single actual college coach who he has planned to bring in on staff. And money can buy you temporarily great players, and money can buy you a great transfer portal class. But college sports is all about recruiting, and it's all about culture. And unless he has guys who are going to be boots on the ground at those high school games in rural North Carolina on Friday nights, at those home visits, cocktail hour like Cliff Kingsbury said afterwards, this thing's not going to work. And so I think that they'll be good for a year. He'll bring in this great portal class, and his play calling experience and just general coaching experience will help out a lot. But I want it on record. I don't think this is going to work at the end of the day.
It's going to be interesting for sure. A lot of people everyone's watching because they want to see, does this become the trend when guys get fired in the NFL that they go to college. And I mean, he's 72 years old.
It's always been like Greg Schiano is the coach at Rutgers, and he does a great job.
You're talking about 72-year-old coaches. 72-year-old coaches. If you can run it like a business and run it like the NFL, can it work? I mean, he brought Mike Lombardi there as basically his general manager. You know, that's what these programs are doing now. They're hiring general managers instead of having athletic directors that oversee football. Now they hire general managers as well. We'll see. I know, it's crazy. All right, what's your last prediction?
We don't give the Blackhawks any airtime on here, partially because they don't really deserve it. But I'm going to give them one prediction right now. I'm going to say that if they don't make the playoffs next year, Connor Bedard's going to request a trade, because he is as aware as all of us are that his beginning of his career is being wasted away with an incompetent organization. Doesn't matter how great of a city Chicago is, doesn't matter how nice the fans are. But I'll tell you what, this thing is starting to reach a disaster scenario, because now Luke Richardson's gone. They bring up the Ice Hogs AHL coach. The season's already just about lost. The Blackhawks have fully lost their magic from the dynasty run. I mean, if everything that happened a couple of years ago didn't show that to people, like, the magic is gone. They need to figure this thing out. Sign some top free agents, make a blockbuster trade for another young superstar to pair Bedard with. Chicago is already at risk of losing one of, like, the two great young phenoms in sports that they had handed to them within the last 2 years. There have been little mumblings that he's wants out, could be requesting a trade. I'm just going to call it. It's going to happen. I've seen this before. If they don't figure this out in short order, he's gone before the end of his rookie contract.
Never before has it been more obvious than the last few months with Chicago sports that it comes down to the ownership, and ownership has to invest in the team. It's that simple. To have the number of crappy teams that we have in Chicago now, and that Billy Donovan is your longest tenured coach in professional sports in Chicago, that the Bulls are considered your best team, your best professional team. Bulls and Cubs are kind of on the same level, but no postseason. It's awful, but it's never been more apparent until this year how important it is for ownerships of these teams to, you cannot grow old in the job. You have to stay young and ahead of the curve with what everybody else is doing. And you have to spend and overspend. It's that simple.
Amen. I completely agree with that, Mom.
All right. Our thanks to our producer, Jack McGrath at ESPN Chicago, where the audio version of this podcast always can be found on the ESPN Chicago app. And Jason, if you like this episode, where else can they do to see us and like us and follow us?
Anywhere you find your audio, you can find our show. But the two best places are the ESPN Chicago app and YouTube. Like, rate, subscribe as Mom gets a phone call. It helps us. It boosts the algorithm. We love doing this show together. Like I said earlier, we've been almost 6 years strong. And that's thanks in part to our supporters, everybody who's listening at home. So keep it up. Keep sending our stuff to your friends and boosting the algorithm whenever you can. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Check us out on YouTube, as Jason said. Check us out on X at TSAHS Pod. Yep. That's the Sportscaster and her son pod. You can follow Jason at Jason Commander. You can follow me at ESPN Peggy or at Peggy Kuzinski, depending on your social media platform. That'll do it for this episode. Jason, I sure hope we're talking about something positive with the Bears in the next week. But in the meantime, have a great weekend. Have a great Monday night watching the Bears, and we will see you home for the holidays.
Don't tempt me with a good time, Mom. I'll see you next weekend.
All right. Take care, everyone. So long.